So I just want to kind of come off the upfront because as we were just talking about it,
Right.
It's obviously a huge time for CBS every year. Some have looked at your fall lineup. They're quite excited about it. You've canceled some popular shows, but I know there's obviously a business reason
Right.
for that. But some would say you're number one. Why mess with a good thing?
Well, you know what? Part of putting together a television schedule is looking at patterns and trends. And yeah, we did cancel some popular shows, but shows that frankly were declining. And shows have a shelf life. And it's better, as we say, to cancel a show a little bit early than a little bit late. We also had a terrific development season. We only put on 5 new shows, and we had to find places to put them. The good news about being number one is you're able to set the bar higher. So the shows that got canceled on CBS may not have been canceled elsewhere. And we feel like by putting on these new shows, we've only improved our schedule just about every night.
And are you comfortable that you paid the right price for the shows that you're putting on?
Totally. We, actually, our budgets for production will be lower in this coming season than they were this past season. And that happens when you cancel some of the aging shows that cost more and replace them with rookies that cost a bit less. So we're in very good shape.
How'd you swing that?
Right.
Okay, so ad spending though, it's coming back.
Yes.
Much better than it was last year.
Oh, what a difference a year makes. We are very excited, and we've seen the trend, obviously, in the last 6 months where advertising has come back big time, both nationally and locally. And, the big categories are doing extremely well. Most significantly, auto is much improved than over it was a year ago.
Are you surprised that it's come back that quickly?
Not really. It's still a very fervent business, and I think it was only a question of time till they straighten themselves out. And obviously, the American auto companies had some difficulties last year, and they regrouped, and there was some change in management. And then ultimately, we know they always have to come back because there's no other way to reach people than advertising.
How sure are you that the sales will come? That you'll seal the deals?
After doing it this many years, I'm fairly certain. You could see it. You could see it in the trends with this scatter advertising market. Then advertising is coming back. That there's a real demand for our content. Once again, being number one doesn't hurt because people want to be on the best shows.
Right.
And we're fairly confident, knowing what we're putting on, knowing what people have bought, that we're going to do very well.
So Les, your advertising is coming back. You're accumulating more cash. A lot of people are saying, what are you going to do with that cash?
Right.
You're going to buy back shares? You're going to raise your dividend? Are you going to acquire anything? What would you put in that order?
It's very interesting. Obviously, we just paid down a lot of debt, so we're in very good shape there. And we are amassing cash, and we're going to look at it towards the end of the year. And we do have options. There's no big acquisitions that are out there that we are dying to make. And we do have a history of returning cash to our shareholders, and we probably will do that, but we're still deciding. We want to see where we are towards the end of the year.
What's preventing you from making that decision now?
Number one, we want to see how much cash we have. We want to see if the economy continues like it is, if it's robust. And once again, as I said, we've just paid down debt. We're dealing with a couple of pension issues, which we're taking care of. And we want to see exactly where we are towards the end of the year, and then we'll make a decision.
So you think within the next 12 months, you should have
Yes.
a decision by then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We will make a decision by then.
Aside from obviously the ad spending coming back and you generating more money from your operations, are there any assets though at CBS right now that don't make sense going forward for you?
Right now we probably have a few too many radio stations. We like to pride ourselves on being a big market radio and television station company. So we have approximately 129 radio stations, and some of those in the smaller markets might fit better with other companies, and we might try to divest some of them. A couple of TV stations as well, but the rest of our businesses we like them in the portfolio. They are providing cash. They are working well for what we're doing, and so there's nothing else that I'm unhappy with.
So you wouldn't be adverse, though, to selling some of the underperforming affiliate TV stations, then? You wouldn't be adverse to that?
I wouldn't even say they're underperforming. I'm just saying smaller markets are the ones that if they're below market 15, they aren't essential to our game plan.
Billboard advertising, though, would that be something that you would sell?
Probably not. Right now, billboard advertising was the last one to get the virus of the recession. after radio and television, and it's the last one to come back. Television stations have come back in a big way. Radio had their first plus signs in 5 years, and now outdoor is coming back in a big way. So right now we love the cash it provides, and 10 is going to be much better than 9, and 11 and 12, the outlook is rather bright. So we have no intention of losing them.
Would there be ever a scenario, Les, that CBS turned itself around, or it is number one, but CBS is generating so much cash, doing so well, that in fact it might even attract another buyer?
Well, as you know,
a buyer.
Right. As you know, our chairman is Sumner Redstone. Sumner likes the asset. He doesn't like selling the asset. He's a big supporter of CBS, and I don't think there are any circumstances that he would want to divest CBS, and I'm happy about that.
So Sumner doesn't sell.
Sumner doesn't sell.
Okay. And you can imagine why.
Right.
He's had
Exactly.
A
and as I said, we're very happy with that, and we like our structure the way it is.
Les, you know the Bud Crystal survey.
Yes.
And this is all in the context of Wall Street pay, talking about excessive Wall Street pay. Having watched what's been going on Wall Street, does it give you any pause in your own role?
People, CEOs of companies have a very tough job, and their board of directors decides what their compensation should be, and I think, whatever people get is appropriate.
And you're comfortable with the structure now at CBS?
Yes.
And just last thing, a lot of people have talked about CBS, and you actually mentioned this earlier, a lot of people talk about CBS used to as an old media company, and then you acquired internet companies and wanted to get into more new media. Do you think you've struck the right balance at CBS? Do you need to make more acquisitions? Do you believe in the internet space in order to get people to understand that CBS is a new media company?
Well, we made an acquisition a couple of years ago of CNET, and we're now one of the top interactive companies in America, in the whole world. So we feel like our interactive company is premium content, which is what we consider ourselves as the CBS Corporation. And we think we have the right balance right now. Our interactive group is getting stronger and stronger, and they're getting more and more revenue, and we think it fits beautifully with the rest of the company. And there's no intent or desire to acquire anything else. And we think the great news about the interactive group is they work with every other part of our company, with obviously with the news people, the CBSNews.com, with our sports people, with our entertainment people, as well as they have their own tech sites and game sites. So we feel like we're very invested in the interactive space, as well as being invested in the more traditional businesses.
But some have said, though, that you haven't seen that return quite yet on the internet businesses.
Oh, the internet business is growing considerably, and it's growing rapidly, and I think people will be quite pleasantly surprised when they see the results this year.
Okay, and just last thing, Les. Always people talk about CBS and CNN, and I know you've said that you've been discussing, you've been having talks with CNN for what, 10 years or something like that. What's holding up something? What's holding up a deal?
You know what, we have a very good relationship with the people at Time Warner. Obviously, we own the CW together. We just made an amazing 14-year deal for the NCAA with Turner and CBS. Warner Brothers is our second biggest supplier of our network television shows, and we have a very good relationship. We are sharing certain anchors with CNN. Anderson Cooper does 60 Minutes pieces, as well as there's a lot of interaction between the two companies. Once again, CNN's a cable company, we're a broadcast company. There are things we can do together, and there are things we can't do together. Are there ongoing discussions? There always are, about how companies can work together and do things together to make a better future for both companies.
But it wouldn't be a wild notion to say that one day it would make sense for CBS and CNN to merge their news gathering operations.
It's a very tough thing to accomplish. There are obviously certain reasons why it would be beneficial for both companies, but it's a very tough thing to accomplish, so I don't see it happening in the near future.
The biggest hurdle to that?
The biggest hurdle is very different cultures. CNN's a great culture, CBS is a great culture. It's just hard combining forces.